Alright, we are live with the fantasy grounds. Skipping the intro. That felt wrong.
Yeah, well, whatever. Here we are.
Right,
GURPS
you have
Action,
to.
session 0.
Where's your script there?
Yeah, I don't have a thing yet. Because we don't have a
Uh-huh.
thing yet. We'll just have to pretend for now. Well, sounds like Nosh is in the chat. God help him. He must be terribly bored. All right. So
What I want to know is if he's in the chat, why can't he be in game?
I know, right?
Slacker.
In which case you would be running right now. God help you. All right, so first item on the agenda is the big one. So we tried to do online some discussion about how to handle the overall group mechanic and what the name of the show would be and blah blah blah. The responses were a bit sparse on that, and we all know why that is. Everybody's busy, and there's also that whole nobody wants to step on anybody else's toes. Well, we're going to have to step on some people's toes because we're going to have to make sure this is all going to work before we even before we start committing this to video intros and stuff like that. So, last chance. Are we going to be sticking with the assassin thing? And I will specifically mention Ronki, his character, the little bit that I know about his character, is not a great fit for that. And so if he really wants to keep that character as part of this game, then he may need to talk everybody out of the assassin thing.
Why? Why can't he be an assassin?
What is he?
He's an MMA fighter. That's what he became.
Yeah. Nobody in a quasi-government special access program is going to hire just an MMA fighter.
No, he's an MMA fighter post being an assassin. He retired, remember? He got kicked off the show.
So, what did he do before that?
Well, before that, he was a...
You don't even know.
Well, we haven't had an origin story. It was just, season
We're
1.
having it now.
Or
What are
movie
you talking
1.
about? This is the 3rd episode.
I'm just wondering though, Giger.
Yeah.
Issue with that's going to be a problem, or are you background?
Sorry, what?
I'm just wondering, is the problem like, all right, you have melee type skills ranged, or or is it just the background that you have a problem with?
So specifically, since it was basically, and I'll use a soft term, softly decided that this was going to be some kind of assassin hit squad thing, then one has to look at how these individuals were selected for this group. And someone who is basically just an MMA fighter is probably not going to be looked at for that. Granted, we are going to be taking some liberties here. Somebody like a Delta Force CIA SOG thing is probably going to be in the 300 to 400 point range. So we're not going to quite get there. But some verisimilitude is called for here. And I'm fine with him being an MMA fighter now, as long as he had a reason to be on the squad in the first place. that makes sense. Because what that was is going to affect what the character looks like right now.
Well, let's say he was a killer from a criminal background.
In that case, for a situation like this, he's going to have to be really good at it. Like 18 plus.
Well, he was the rookie. He was the rookie and quit when he got cancelled.
Yeah, there are no rookies in this. They don't hire rookies for this.
Next question is how important is that backstory?
Not super important. It's just we need to establish what did he do on the team. And it's going to affect, for example, we haven't really talked about the operation at all, but say the operation took place in the Middle East somewhere. So you guys were hitting terrorist leaders or something like that. What he was doing in that region and how he was working with the team is going to be important to what sort of skills he has at whatever level.
Are we using the templates?
Yes. Well, I mean, you can use the templates. You don't have to. I would recommend using the templates, at least as a starting point.
And we're 250 points, right?
That is the current plan, unless that needs to change for some reason. It won't go down.
Well, yeah, he was a criminal hitman. So that's how he became part of the group.
So he's John Wick. Maybe
He's
not
John
with the
Wick.
guns, though.
Probably less gun, yeah.
All right. So, like I said, he'll have to be really good at it. That won't be a problem, though.
He'll
His
be as
skill
good as
set won't need to be that broad.
He'll be as good as the template allows.
Which template are you thinking of using?
I think it's the ninja is the
Really?
melee fighter.
Oh no! If you go to Action 3, they've got several. They've got fast, strong, ninja, weapon master, and something else. I think.
Yeah, the ninja is super focused. The ninja template is super focused on stealth and not that great of a fighter.
Big guy, fast guy, ninja, traceur, and weapon master.
Now, when I created Ditch, I started out with, I think I was trying to use the assassin, and it just didn't work. But what I ended up with was traceur instead,
And
and it was pretty
ironically,
damn good.
even though I'm sort of kind of playing a ninja type, I didn't use the ninja template. I used the infiltrator template from Action 1 because it did fit my mindset better.
He'd probably be the fast guy, I imagine, if he's a MMA fighter.
Could also be the big guy.
Yeah, depends.
Okay, well, I can accept that as a background concept. Therefore, anybody got any problems with Redacted or the overall concept at this point?
Nope.
None here.
All right. So, FYI, I'm probably not going to do a wiki wiki thing for this particular campaign. It doesn't really lend itself to that. So I will be recording the campaign parameters, but I'll do that on the boards in a campaign info thing.
How many sessions are we looking at?
So the plan is
12.
this is going to be a short run. I'm
11?
planning on 6 episodes of it. And where did I put that?
It does under Fast Guy. It does have MMA as one of the customization options.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, it's a mixed martial artist. Some
There we
MMA
go.
belts are crude contests to power, but you focus on technique and precision to reflect Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and Muay Thai. Yeah, so it's like, okay, let me look at the big guy, see if it has the same thing.
Yeah, I did a character in one
Yeah,
of
actually it does. It both big guy and fast guy have mixed martial arts as a customization. So I guess it depends on whether
yeah.
you're playing the big strong dude or the fast striker guy.
No, I did the Muay Thai thing in one of Phil's face-to-face games. I
Oh,
kind of
that was
enjoyed
so
that one.
funny. It was funny as
Yeah.
I screwed up and he was basically he was like ended up being superpower or empowered, and then I was like, oh, this will be great. He'll get into this underground fight with these dudes, and he just wrecked my mooks. It was embarrassing for them.
Yeah, superpowers are always a bad idea. Unless it's a supers game, you don't go there. All right. So yeah, so the plan is 6 episodes. And what I want to do here is it's going to be like a 1 hour of game time per episode. So the whole thing is going to take place in like 6 hours. Hence the restrictions on disads and stuff. So things that have frequencies in days or in adventures, they're not going to be relevant here. So it's either always on or it's not. But we'll get into the specifics of that, assuming somebody needs that. So I am, as stated before, going to be using full basic cinematics for the game. So all these stuff that normally comes with the templates is accepted, including the stuff like enhanced dodge defenses and that sort of thing. Stuff that we normally leave out. And given that, I am not planning on doing anything like plot points. So I'm expecting that you're going to have a character that's going to be able to get out of trouble. So I'm not going to give you any gimmies in that regard. But I am still going to use bennies because I like it and it works. And I will use the situational plot points like I have been, just like planning or tactics or whatever. And I'll, for those of you that are newer to that sort of thing, I will make available my documentation on those.
About flesh wounds, character points for flesh wounds.
That is a question that we were going to answer here. Is given the fact that the whole thing is going to take place within a single game day, healing is not going to be a thing here, or not very much anyway. So if it takes 30 minutes to do the first aid, then that's going to take a big chunk of the session. So you guys will need to decide, and we can vote on it if we need to, whether or not you want to do flesh wounds. I will run with it if you want to do that. Or you can just take your lumps and make sure you got a character that can survive. Otherwise, I'm not planning to hold back.
Well, what opportunities are there to bring in backup characters in the event that someone just gets shot and killed because bullets?
I'm assuming since this is going to take place on a cruise ship, there are a lot of people on it, so we ought to be able to do something.
I think there needs to be a sense of risk reward.
A sense of what? You cut off right after a sense of.
A sense of danger, or hey, we can actually die, like consequence.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why we stopped using plot points overall. Was we sort of lost that sense of mortality when we had them around. So I think we all kind of decided, yeah, we probably don't want to do that anymore. Flesh wounds is really just an oh shit.
Plus, you with a flesh wound, you still take damage. You just don't take as much.
So it's up to you whether or not you want to have that oh shit there or not.
Well, it depends on how easy it is to introduce a new character. Obviously, the new character is not going to be part of the previous group. They're going to be a passenger or something. They're going to be the chef.
Maybe.
Special Forces chef. Oh, dude, I got an idea for a backup
No.
character.
No. Good God, no.
Why?
But maybe, but no.
I'll play the
Good
girl in the
use
cape.
water one.
All right, so motion. Flesh wounds or not? Do we need to vote? We'll vote.
I could go either way, honestly.
Yeah, I'm same. I'll defer to whatever you guys want to do.
It's one of those where it's like I can see the benefit, and I totally understand where Brian's coming from, because it's like, oh yeah, inevitably you're going to get that one critical hit to the head, and
Well, it's
Well,
not
we've
even
got-
that. It's just one critical hit, and with bullets, you're below zero.
We've never seen that happen.
yes, we have. So a related question to that is, do we start out with points for that, or is it just like you need to have however many points not spent?
I'm gonna get to that in a bit. Actually,
Well, I can't answer the question without that question being answered.
I think to answer the question temporarily, I would say it'll be handled.
Then sure. I don't understand what this option is. It's
Well,
two periods.
Huh?
Wow, it's just 2 dots. What's up with that?
It's because only two of us have characters. The rest are just,
oh,
in the game.
that's interesting. I see all 4 of them, so I didn't know what you were talking about. Okay, well, ignore that anyway. So Rigel and Mel were kind of either way. FX, did you have an opinion one way or the other?
Well, I would say I'm kind of neutral, but I generally don't like flesh wounds. But I see
Fair
where
enough.
on a short-term game, if somebody dies, you're kind of out.
All right, so it's really going to come down to
Well, it's not. It's not whether you. It's not whether you die. It's whether you get hit, because there's no healing. So you're going to get hit by a bullet. You're going to take, 2D damage if it's a pistol, and that'll take you below 0. So for the rest of the game, you're going to be below 0.
Well, if you get shot like in the leg, you have your thresholds,
And
your
that's
extremities.
just if it's a pistol.
Yeah, it could be worse. So
It's like
there's
what's an AK?
definitely going to
An
be some
AK
danger.
is like 7D, I think. Say go with the 6D for like a AK carbine, and that could wreck your day. As Ronky remembers when he charged the guy with the submachine gun who was going to ignore him, and
Mhm.
guy said, "Oh, well, okay then I will shoot you at point blank range with the submachine gun."
It ended predictably. All right. So what I will say then,
I'm good for no flesh wounds. But yeah, backup characters, as long as backup characters are cool.
I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put us down for yes on the flesh wounds.
But
But
we said no.
well, actually, everybody said kind of neutral.
But let me ask, how do you
No,
know, what's your thought
Ronky said
process?
no.
Well, to finish what I was going to say was, I think what I might do is instead of you pay a point to eliminate that wound, there may be like a disad involved or something like that. Kind of the way I was doing with the terminally ill.
Because you got to get more messed up as the movie goes on.
Yeah, that's kind of a thing. So it's yes, but no, I guess.
Is there a chance of failure? I mean, can we like actually fail a mission, or is it assumed for action roles that we're gonna win?
Yeah, that's
Good
it
guy.
is. I am not going to hand it to you, but I do kind of expect you to pull it off because that bloody always happens.
Not always.
I mean,
FX wasn't around to
maybe
hear the story, but I've told everybody in previous games that I've run that I am going to kill one of you,
I'm just saying
and it
maybe
did
we're
not
all
happen.
dead except for the MMA fighter, last one to finish the mission.
Yeah, that's totally how it would go too. Yeah. I am not gonna hold your hands. So, FYI, I will allow you to die if you deserve it, or if you just, get shot in the face. But we'll figure it out. All right. So, I understand where everybody's coming from at this point. I feel like we've established that. All right. Let's see. I can mark that off.
Wow, the AK doesn't do as much damage as I thought it did.
It's at what, 5D something?
5D plus 1.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's a
that
7.62, but it's not as
still
much powder
sort
as a
of
308.
ruined somebody's day.
Okay. Also, with regard to the cinematics, I will try to be a little more flexible with ridiculousness. So, if, for example, you decide to jump off the top of the building, hanging off a fire hose and smash through a window with your feet, I might allow that to happen rather than having you face plant on the window and then fall to your death because the hose comes loose.
In his defense, he was saying this was a really dumb idea.
True. So I'm saying that now, so you guys keep that in your minds when we're playing, because if you have to remind me that I said that, you may have to remind me. Something else I'm going to do with regard to cinematics and the action series in general is I am going to be using BAD. FX, do you know what BAD is? The BAD, Basic Abstract Difficulty.
Yes.
Okay. Right, we've been using it a little bit in Star Wars, but I didn't know if you'd actually read up on that. Okay, so I don't need to explain that. Okay, so the plan is at this point, and I may shuffle this a little bit, but I'm going to have BAD go up by 1 every session. So by the end of it, it will be pretty high.
I don't want it to be high.
I am considering having you be able to offset that by getting pieces of information. I may go over that at some point, but in general, there is going to be some sort of accumulation of BAD throughout the thing. A GMing note, mostly for FX, because he's the only one that I haven't actually run for yet. I try to limit die rolls to when they're actually useful and not die roll for every little stupid thing. So, FYI, you may not have to roll for something.
Okay.
So there are going to be some times where I just give you information because you have a certain skill level, and I don't make you roll for it unless there's actually some benefit, some dramatic reason to do that.
Just going back to the BAD, do you generally know what that is, or is it kind of know that
I
it's
will tell
bad,
you what
but
it
not
is.
how bad?
I'll tell you what it is. You'll know. In fact, when I do the campaign info, I will spell out what I'm going to do, so you're going to know it before we even get there how that's going to work.
We need the little hour 2 thing that pops up at the beginning with a BAD, increased by 1.
I was actually thinking about doing a 24 countdown, and
shiny. Ugh, plop.
we could do that in the current fantasy grounds, but I don't know how that would work exactly. So I haven't figured that out yet.
I demand the sound effects.
I was just thinking about that. I haven't actually. We have sound sets. I don't know how that works though. So books. My overall plan was to use a limited set of books, GURPS books, that is, or that is allow you to specify which ones we do or don't want to use here, with one exception, and that is I will be using Fantastic Dungeon Grappling here, which I keep saying I'm using, and nobody ever actually grapples anybody, so we've never actually seen it used. But do I need to explain that to anybody? The Fantastic Dungeon Grappling.
I have never heard of that.
I've heard of it, but I've never used it.
All right, so here's the elevator pitch on Fantastic Dungeon Grappling. Basically, this is the light version of technical grappling. And the only real change here is that, when you do a grapple, instead of a binary on-off, you grappled or you don't grapple, you have a damage roll, effectively, that is referred to as control points. And the number of control points you have on the other guy determines the level of the grapple. So it may, the overall effect of your grapple may vary depending on how strong a hold you have on them. Other than that, it mostly works the same way. So I bring that up specifically in this game because you're going to start out with no equipment. Therefore, you're going to have to grapple somebody. So finally, it's going to actually freaking come up.
Maybe.
But when we get there, I'll walk you through it. Don't sweat it too much. I'll just tell you right now, it's not that bad. But if you want to read up on it ahead of time, it's fantastic dungeon grappling.
Never a good sign when the GM says it's not that bad.
I realized as I was saying that may not have been the right word to use. Okay, so having established that, how do you guys want to handle the rules here? This is probably going to be essentially fight porn. So mostly this is going to be combat with a little bit of stuff in between. And
You know, there is an actual thing called fight porn.
I'm betting it's not what I would want it to be.
I'm wondering
Probably
if
not.
it's
I
something
don't know if we'd be
should
able to
look
stream
up.
it. Let's put it that way.
But so for starters, you have generally the option of basic combat or tactical combat, and we have a tendency to lean toward the tactical in this group, and we can stick with that. Or if somebody just really wants to do no tactical combat at all, then we can figure that out here. There's also there are a lot of splat books in GURPS, as everyone well knows. It is famous for this. So if, for example, you wanted to keep the gun combat simple and we wanted to disallow tactical shooting, that could be a thing. However, there is one data point to consider in that regard, in that FX is talking about doing a guns guy. And given the nature of this particular campaign, FX might actually want to do a little bit of experimenting with tactical shooting here. So you might want to actually go full tactical. But this is your chance to say, I don't want to do X.
I don't want to have to roll for aiming. Options in tactical, I think.
That is not actually in tactical shooting.
Is it not?
That's in a pyramid. But actually, I really kind of like that idea. But it is
But you're a
extra
weirdo.
rolling. And specifically in your case, FX, I know you're talking about potentially, since you're doing Hitman, you're basically talking about a sniper here. If you wanted to get more into the sniper stuff, I can beef that concept up a little bit for you.
But he doesn't have a gun.
Well, not yet.
What are you sniping with? Yeah, bad language?
Well, I like the idea of like a true sniper, where he's on Overwatch. I don't know if that's going to be possible in our campaign. I also like I like the idea of a character that's not like spray and pray, more like single shots or burst versus just full auto.
I don't think you've been in a position to actually know this already. I am or was an Army sniper, so I know what sniping is really like, and I can make it more real for you if you really want.
Well, more real in a gaming sense. Fun gaming way. If that makes any sense at all.
I think it does, kind of. All right, so books. Anybody have any opinions on the books and the overall tacticalness of it?
I do not. I'm cool with picking and choosing from everything. I'm going to
How
make
do
sure
you-
Action 3 is okay.
Action 3 is mostly just a rehash anyway.
How are you going to handle enemies in terms of mooks versus, regular people versus bosses?
I didn't actually write that down, but I am okay with a mook rule here. I don't think it's one of the official listed options that they've discussed before, but what I like to do is auto fail health checks for mooks unless there is a dramatic reason not to. Sort of like the way we do with our standard Olympus rule for non-named characters don't get to use extra effort, which I'll probably stick with as well. Yeah, I don't like it when when you've got some level nothing mook that keeps making his health roll for some reason and just won't freaking die.
Those are the best.
We've had some interesting times with that. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. All right, Rigel has expressed an opinion on the overall crunch level. What does
Might
anybody
not be
else
a
have?
great opinion, but it's an opinion.
If you just don't care, you can say whatever the usual is fine with me.
The usual.
Yeah, I think I'm good with the usual.
As long as we don't bog down too much. It is action, so it should be, relatively paced.
Well, I think we'll get there. All right, then we will stick with the usual, I guess. Advancement. So, given the previous thing that I discussed about this taking place within around 6 hours of game time, the normal 2 points per session is going to be a little ridiculous. So what I am going to propose here is that we don't actually accumulate character points until the end of the campaign.
But if it's a one-shot campaign, then what's the point?
Because it may have a sequel. Now, I'll probably pad those points. For example, it's only going to be a six episode deal, but I may do 10 to 15 at the end of it, or something like that. There may be more than that. And what I was originally thinking of with the flesh wounds and that sort of thing is actually pull out of the end pool instead of what you have on hand right now. Not that we're necessarily doing that, but so for starters, does anybody have a problem with deferring character points until the end?
Nope, I'm good with that.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it. I don't think I have a problem with it.
Now, I am
Guess we'll
considering
see.
one exception to that, and I think what I'm probably going to do is do the IQ roll for default and allow you to pre-spend a point if you actually make the roll, assuming you actually do a default thing.
So kind of like borrow a point for later.
Yeah.
Do we need to like keep up with that?
No, I'm sure I'll mark it down somewhere,
Or he won't.
or I won't. I think what I probably will do though is in lieu of character points per session, I am probably going to do bennies per session. 1 or 2, something like that. And I will award bennies for being cool. Well, extra cool. You can't just be normal cool. You have to be extra cool.
I am always extra cool though.
What are bennies?
You have seen a little bit of that. But effectively what it is, it's a +1 to a die roll. So you accumulate bennies, you can use it on any die roll.
Is it a character or like group?
Character per you. I have allowed people to spend bennies for other people's actions on occasion. I don't like to do that, but sometimes it makes sense. That one I do have documented somewhere. All right, FX, defer character points. What say you?
I think it kind of adds a sense of, I don't know, it takes away something, but it gives you freedom, I think. Just make your character, you're not trying to manipulate, play the meta game about which skills you're rolling, etc.
It does mean that you will need to get the right skill set from the beginning, and not wait until later to build up something. So there will be some restrictions, consequences for doing it that way. But yeah, like you said, it frees you from having to think about it.
I mean, I think it makes sense anyways. When there's short sessions, the character points don't feel as good anyways. At least not to me.
Well,
Short
sessions won't be short.
campaigns.
It's just the campaign, but yeah.
All right. Sorry, I meant the overall campaign. Because I'm just, I'm thinking, oh, we play 6 times, we get 12 points. What can I do with 12 points? Not a lot.
You can do quite a bit with 12 points. The weirdness comes when in game it's half a day has passed and suddenly you've gone from 250 to 262 points. It's a head scratcher.
We're gonna have skills where we have like level 18s, have like essentially 8 character points. Like we wouldn't really be able to advance those skills anyways.
Well, the big ones, no.
But I mean, I'm okay with it.
Okay.
I'm good with that.
Mel, do you have an opinion?
Not really. I'll go with the group on this one. I kind of like having the points to spend and shop and everything, but I can suppress that for a bit.
Okay, well, we'll plan on doing it that way then. Character points will be deferred, and on a case-by-case basis, we'll, I'm generally pretty flexible about that sort of thing, so we'll see what comes up when it comes up. All right, and that is most of the mechanical issues that I am currently thinking about. So at this point, we have a number of character issues we need to sort out. And the first thing I want to determine is whether or not you guys are actually set on the characters that you're on right now. So right now we have infiltrator, martial artist,
Assassin,
hitman, and
which
martial
will be
artist.
probably assassin.
So, anybody want to change their overall character concept at this point? Or is everybody pretty happy with where you're headed?
I think I'm pretty happy. I think I was going to go with the Weapon Master template in Action 3.
Ah,
Yeah, I kind of flipped back and forth on that because at least the movie character was more of just a regular martial artist, I think, and just happened to also use a sword, but you could easily retool the character that way and it would still make sense.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
But it's useful to differentiate the skill sets a little bit, and right now I think we're okay with that. I don't have a problem if everybody had the same skill set, but I know everybody they like a little bit of extra flavor. What's more important is the actual characterizations are different. And that's going to be a thing we need to sort out. So you could play everybody's this same clone trooper with the same stats, but they all need to have different personalities or you can't tell them apart. And given the restrictions on disadvantages and stuff, there's the potential for all the characters to end up being some kind of callous
nope,
asshole.
nope.
And I want to make sure that everybody isn't the same thing. Callous asshole loner.
I have trickster and a trademark.
Rigel has specifically tried to avoid that stereotype.
He does have an odious personal habit that he's always sneaking up on people, even friends, especially friends.
So from that standpoint, I know where Mel's going and I know where FX is going and I know where Rigel's going, so I don't think any of you guys are going to step on each other. Probably be okay. The only one I don't really know anything about is Ronki's character, personality-wise.
That's okay. He doesn't know either.
Yeah. I won't know until I'm filling out the template.
You are such a weirdo.
Well, you need to do that. You were originally talking about doing a family thing. Are you still considering that?
Yeah. So he's, like I said, MMA fighter. We're doing the burial at sea for the mentor. So he brings his family along for the occasion. So his family are on board.
Because I know Rigel was originally talking about doing that. I don't know if he ditched that or not.
Yeah, I don't. He doesn't have no. I mean,
he will
not
have.
here.
He will have family on board, so that they can be used as hostages and stuff.
Of course. How many?
Probably a standard nuclear family. 2 kids, wife, 2 kids.
1.5 kids.
Yeah, maybe an angsty teenager.
Ooh, that'd be good.
There's your backup character.
There you go. All right. Anybody else got any plans to do anything that I probably need to talk about? I don't think Mel's character is going to come with any extra baggage like that at this point.
The bride does have a daughter.
In this case, she's not going to have
Right.
one.
Well, even if she does have one, she doesn't necessarily need to be present, and that's really the important part here, is whether or not they're present. FX, I assume if you're going down the Agent 47 route, that he's not going to have any sort of family or anything like that, any other baggage we need to deal with.
I mean, I'm just trying to think of what you
Unless you
said
want
about
to.
the disadvantages, the frequency. I'm thinking he's going to be more of a solo guy. He could have somebody that's important to him, but maybe that's the mentor.
Well, like I was telling Mel, that you could have those other people in his life, but they don't have to be present. The real important part here is whether or not they're present. You're just reminding me of the killer, and he had his woman, but she was not present during the movie, except at the
Well,
very beginning and the very end.
but was it worth points?
No, it wouldn't be worth points if they're not present. Yeah, the points for having a dependent is based on the fact that there is a chance that they are going to get captured or otherwise endangered. And in this particular storyline, there is no chance of them not being present if they are here on the ship. So it's kind of an all or nothing situation. And the same goes with enemies and allies and patrons and all that other crap. So I could think of, for example, enemies. You could take an enemy that is definitely going to be present on the ship, and that could be like a modular thing, like there is always that guy that's here, that he always runs into that guy, and not necessarily a specific individual, but a type. You could do the same thing with the dependent and say he always has a girlfriend whichever movie we're in, he's always got a girlfriend present, and she always gets captured. But yeah, things like contacts are probably not going to come up here either, because specifically you're going to be out of contact.
Yeah, I'm just looking at like the disadvantages from the template duty.
Yeah, that was when I kind of flip-flopped on the extremely hazardous duty. It won't ever come up because you're going to be on duty regardless. Sort of. I mean, you guys are quote unquote retired anyway, but there's no chance of you being additionally inconvenienced by it.
Actually, it's worth more points if it's 100%. Right?
Yeah, well, there's no additional inconvenience, therefore it's not useful. But when it comes down to that, there are
I might need your help then. I might have a hard time with some of the advantages.
if you guys are having problems making it work with the disadvantages, I would probably rather give you more points than allow you to take disadvantages that don't actually do anything in the campaign.
I can always use more points.
I don't think I'll have to twist anybody's arm for that, but I would rather that we stick with the 250 unless there's just a reason we can't. Unless, or you guys could decide that, hey, we really want to play 400-point characters instead.
What about secret professional killer?
Yeah, so I don't see how that one would work. Having a
Yeah,
secret?
because technically all of us have that.
Yeah, that's true. The secret could come up, it could be exposed, but the consequences of having that secret exposed will never come up.
Just have to kill everybody on the boat.
I guess.
Hold on.
Well, then the reason I'm having a hard time because that's the template.
Yeah, I know.
But I guess if it's
Well-
55 points, I can find them I can use up like the social,
Yeah.
mental disadvantages or like
And
social
and
stuff.
plus these the templates are, they're not set in stone. When I created the mine using the infiltrator, I got rid of some of the disads from the template and replaced them because it's like, yeah, this doesn't fit my character. He's not a loner.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever created a character from a template as is.
And then not that I probably would have them, but this negative points, do they also come from like attributes?
Yes. And that is something to consider because, for example, you probably have a character with an IQ of higher than 10. Well, there's no reason he has to have a willpower of higher than 10. So you could actually back that down. That would be very realistic. Perception would also work that way, although I'm sure given the character you're playing, it's probably going to have a higher perception. But that's just an example. Don't limit yourself to having all your stats be the same. You could lower those by taking some of the derived stats at a lower level.
Okay.
But yeah, those do count as disadvantages when you do that. Also, part of the background issues here, I don't care if you guys give the operation or the company a name, or if you want to actually decide what the operation actually entailed.
Every time we try to say the name of the operation, it goes redacted.
But it might be useful to know, for example, if it occurred in the Middle East and everybody should speak Arabic.
Well, I speak Arabic, but
I know your character.
my
speaks Arabic.
character's family is Arabic.
So you might want to consider that, whether or not that's something you want to deal with, or you can paper over it. I really don't care that much, but don't forget some of the background elements. That's probably going to take a little while for you to chew on. In the meantime, we've also got, I like to do naming conventions. For the PCs, I like to do something useful with the names. I've had a couple of ideas. One being just make the characters with very action-y sounding names, which is the basic, I suppose, like Flash Hazard or something. But one of my favorite naming conventions from a past game that I ran was the gun show, where everybody took gun
Oh,
names. I know Rigel remembers that one very fondly.
Good times.
So we had Winchester, Remington, Colt, and Barrett, and some other ones. I don't remember all of them. But that was one. We haven't done that at Olympus. We only did that in my face-to-face game. We did one in Earthfall where everybody was using sci-fi authors.
Right.
And my number 2 recommendation for this one, the best I could come up with here, was action directors. So Michael Bay, James Cameron, John Woo, Richard Donner. Having said that, I really don't care. So if you guys just want to do your own thing, you can do your own thing. But I'm going to throw that out there in case you guys want to actually try to make an arrangement here while we're here.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to poke around.
We should not have names at all, and we should all just have call signs.
Well, that was a second part of that question is you guys will inevitably have had some kind of call sign during the operation. So that'll probably come up.
And we should have call signs from an 80s cartoon.
You wouldn't happen to be thinking of a specific 80s cartoon, would you?
Not particularly, but you've got G.I. Joe, you've got Transformers.
Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Thundercats.
Guess that does count, doesn't it? Yeah, that's up to you guys, though.
He-Man and She-Ra.
I like the Thundercats.
So no one actually knows our real names. We only ever know each other by call signs.
I would be really tempted to do something like that. One of the things I really liked about Tenet was the fact that the main character actually did not have a name.
He was the protagonist.
You guys seen Money Heist where they're all named after cities?
No, but I remember that from Zombieland. Yeah, so you guys are probably not going to get around to talking about this during the week, so now's the time to coordinate if you're going to coordinate.
I kind of like the idea of us just knowing one another by the call signs.
Just actually never using a real name.
Yeah.
The compartmentalization.
I can live with that.
Which means I have to come up with a call sign.
Except Ronki's character's wife will occasionally slip and use his actual name.
Yeah, but she doesn't need to use a whole thing. He can just be John or whatever.
Or Honey.
Honey. Well, I mean, we could do the call signs, but using the same thought process, right? The characters from,
Yeah, no, that's perfectly fine with me.
I don't even know the characters in She-Ra other than He-Man, She-Ra. Oh, what's that?
He-Man, She-Ra,
Gray,
Orko, Man-at-Arms,
Skeletor.
Skeletor.
You remember a lot
Not real
more of them
names.
than I do.
This is Tila. The
Battle Cat.
sorceress. Cringer was Battle Cat's alter identity.
Right. He-Man.
Thundercats. Lion-O.
Chitara, Panthero.
Yeah, those are harder to work in.
I don't remember any of those characters.
I only remember Lion-O. I remember Chitara now that you said it.
Thundercats, 1985 to 1989.
Unfortunately, I'll never be able to not see Robot Chicken's Thundercats thing.
There's also Voltron. He can do that.
Brave Star.
All right, well, the specifics for that are not as important as the overall concept. It sounds like everybody's on the same page. The one that we are going to have to deal with, though, is casting. So we need to
Done.
sort that out today, because what I want to do is feed that into Midjourney and have it generate an action movie poster. So we are going to need to know who the actors are.
Done.
I assume Rigel's done.
Well, technically, FX can pick either the newer Hitman movie or the older one.
Yeah, I don't know which
With
way I would go
Timothy
with that, because I
Oliphant.
like Oliphant, but the other guy is perfectly fine too. The other guy, well, actually, neither of them are really close to the game.
Hey, there are 4 of us. We could be the Turtles. We could be TMNT.
Do you really want to be associated with that?
I didn't say it was a great idea.
Right. How about no?
Mask. I totally searched 80s cartoon characters.
So I think for mine, I'm probably going to be going for a like a Margot Robbie kind of deal, because I'm thinking she might go like more of a Harley Quinn in her bloodbath later on. If she actually survives this, she could, of course, die horribly here.
Well,
Before she went crazy?
What
Yep.
year is this movie set in? Or what year was the movie created?
This will be a modern day thing.
So
I
maybe
was
our
really
casting should
considering-
be modern day actors.
Well, it doesn't have to be. I mean, it can be whatever. But I was really tempted to try to set this as a period 80s thing or something. But I want to do less work, not more work. So it's less work to just go with what we know.
Okay, we're going to be 80s. I'm going to be Christian Slater.
I'll be
As an MMA fighter?
Arnold.
So Margot Robbie's not 80s. She's current.
No, you don't have to be 80s. Yeah, Christian Slater is way too small to be an MMA guy.
He's a fast guy.
He's also kind of skinny. Unless you go with current Christian Slater, who's a little thicker. And who is surprisingly good at doing menacing, I've found. At least in Mr. Robot. Yeah, I would think you'd really need a martial artist.
Just trying to think of an 80s martial artist that's not Chuck Norris and
Oh, there's so many
Steven
to choose
Seagal.
from.
You could go with Master Ken.
That would be funny.
With his amazing mustache.
and Stomp to the Groin.
Yep.
No, that mustache thing is apparently a thing in all the 80s ninja movies. You have to have the mustache. Phil and I both ended up watching a retrospective about the 80s ninja movie thing. There is some wild shit out there. I'll just say that. It was a
Shinobi
very
Geddon.
strange time.
Should be Bruce Lee. That's pretty stereotypical.
Well, it's setting the bar pretty high. You don't want to embarrass him. It's sort of
That's
like picking
true.
Chuck Norris as your actor. It's like if you don't play him well, if he doesn't win everything, then he's gonna come kill you.
You could go with Van Damme. However you say it.
Jean-Claude.
JCVD.
Yeah.
That means he has to be French, though.
He's Belgian. He's not French.
French enough. Also, it means you have to do the splits at least once.
What's the actor's name that plays the Flash in the 80s movie?
Oh, I don't remember, but I can look it up.
In the 80s movie.
You mean the series?
Flash Gordon.
Oh, that Flash Gordon. Quarterback, New York Jets. He saved every one of us. You can't play him.
It's like Sam Jones.
Yep, I was about to say that.
We had somebody use him in a Traveler game once.
Like Pirates or something like that.
But then again, if it's going to be an AI generated, it'd have to be someone that there's a fair bit of imagery. Otherwise, it won't
To a
get it
certain
right.
degree. I expect I might need to go in and tinker with it to get it quite right, but I think I'll use the AI to get us close there. Be a little bit less work for me. All right, so you know what Rigel's doing. You know what Mel's doing. FX, are you going to cheese it and go with one of the existing Hitmans, or are you going to do something else?
Character.
For the actor.
I mean, I want to. I don't know. I want to use him as inspiration. 47, but I don't necessarily want to make him exactly the same. I don't know if that really helps you or not.
Well, I think in your case, You could pick one and just let the AI do what it's going to do, and it'll just be close enough.
Oh, you mean for the picture, the portrait?
I am specifically talking about the portrait, but also the
Oh,
characterization to a certain extent. But in your case, you kind of know where the characterization is going, so it really doesn't matter that much.
Actually, instead of Bruce Lee, I'll go Jackie Chan. That way I can't fuck it up.
That's an interesting choice.
I would think you'd want to go with somebody a little more like maybe Tony Jaa. Or whoever it is that does the raid. I can't remember his name.
I think if you did the AI for character, gave me a few options, I'm okay with probably just picking one.
But he's generally going to be the same white guy, bald, blah, blah, hitman.
No, he doesn't have to be that way. You could put instead of putting in physical descriptors, you could put in more like scary looking, instead of bald white guy assassin, scary look.
Actually, I guess now that I think about it, you're kind of new to this whole thing. So something that I started doing a long time ago in my games is we actually use actual actors, because a lot of time these actors come with their own idiosyncrasies that you can sort of imagine. For example, if I were to play a pirate and I were to say he was going to be represented by Johnny Depp, I don't have to go through all the motions for you to understand what that pirate character played by Johnny Depp looks like, because you know what he looks like. You know how he acts. You know how he sounds. So that is kind of how that developed. Now, not everybody does that. This is a me thing mostly, but it's something that this group has kind of done pretty much always, with a few exceptions here and there. So that's why we use actors. And if you don't want to do that, that's fine too. We can work with it.
Then I like the just go with that. I like the clinical bold serial number tattoo, motionless, cold-blooded killer.
I keep thinking that Fassbender would have made a really good hitman, especially when he was a little bit younger, maybe. Except he would be bald, obviously. It just that the killer
If
with
I had
no
a mustache. What's that guy
Well, if
called?
you're doing hitman, you're going to have all kinds of different looks.
Oliphant? Is that guy's name?
Yeah, Timothy Oliphant.
And then he's got the big 80 mustache, but everywhere else is bald. I don't know.
Justified ruined me for Oliphant. Now it's like whenever I think of Oliphant, I immediately think of Raylan Givens.
Yeah, it's kind of hard not to. All right. Yeah. The only one I'm not really sure about at this point is Ronky, so.
I'm thinking Jet Li or Donnie Yen.
They don't scream MMA to me, though.
Well, we're actors.
And I'm not going to tell you no.
And he's the fast guy, not the strong guy.
That's fair.
I'll go Donnie Yen. Though he was 90s.
Donnie Yen is still doing stuff. So you're doing a John Wick type character using a John Wick actor.
Just like Hollywood.
This is before he gets blinded.
All right. The last thing on my list here is to do the mentor. So we need to figure out who this guy was. Not specifically, we don't need a name or anything. We just need to know who he was to everyone and make sure that everyone is properly tied in. So
Should be the concierge.
Oh yeah, that actor did pass away.
damn it. I know his name. Well, casting him isn't terribly important because he'll be dead. And, ashes.
Right. So what do you need to know about him?
I guess we just need to settle on who he was to everyone. So, for example, he couldn't be Mel's martial arts master because he wouldn't be everybody else's martial arts master. The simplest version is probably he was in charge of the operation.
That's what
working
I
for
was
the company.
operating. That's what I was presuming.
Yeah,
And
same here.
that basically just means that you guys would have had to work with him enough that you really developed a bond with the guy, and that's the reason why you're all here. And that's fine. That is a perfectly usable storyline. We just needed to decide that was going to be it.
Old school intelligence agent. Really old school.
Hannibal.
So he eats people?
No, from the A-Team. Brains behind the outfit.
Which one, George Papard or Liam Neeson?
Liam Neeson was in the A-Team?
In the movie.
Such a bad movie.
It was a pretty terrible movie. But oddly enough, it's one of those that I kind of want to watch again every now and again. I don't know why.
But yeah, that's yeah, I like that.
Okay, so anybody opposed? Want something else there? Kind of doubt anybody will.
I mean, it makes sense that maybe he could have pulled several of us in, like if FX is doing a rip of Agent whatever, maybe he helped him.
I guess
Since we're all not bald with a weird barcode at the back of our skull.
I guess it would be useful to establish whether or not FX's agent is still a part of that organization. Guess it could be on the run.
I could take him as an enemy.
You could.
But
The
not the
only
whole
way-
organization. Maybe just like somebody that had it out for me, or that was trying to make me the fall guy or something like that.
Whether or not that counts as an actual disad will depend on how that's going to affect the game itself. And so it may not be a full-on disad secret or enemy or whatever it is, but there's no reason that couldn't be the case in the background.
I'm thinking the guy, the mentor guy, or it could recruited me, took me in as, you know, if I'm following the Agent 7, young, brought me into the organization, recruited me, trained me, was my handler for a while.
Well, now don't get them mixed up with, so this company and, well, I mean, I guess you could have been a permanent part of that. The company that Hitman works for,
Dad,
I don't recall
Daddy.
what it is,
Daddy, look at what I'm gonna do.
will not have brought in outside help. That is the other PCs. So it doesn't make sense for him to be your original handler.
Lance Reddick. That's the actor's name.
That's his name, damn it. I hate when that name is right there and I can't get it. It's stuck. Yeah, so FX, the decision here is whether or not he is still part of the Agent 47 organization, whatever that is. Do you recall what that is? I don't even remember the name. Did they ever identify it?
The agency.
Is that it? That sounds about right. That's totally what I would have called it.
Dad, Dad, look what I'm gonna do.
So, is he still part of the agency?
I mean, if it doesn't affect the game, our game, then yeah, he's still part of the agency. And he's maybe at a point in his career where there's just something not right, some rogue faction led or something. But he's
So
still
how
part of the
would-
agency.
We
So
probably
how
don't
would
need
that-
to go that far.
Yeah, but how would that tie into
Mama,
the other PCs?
Okay,
working
well, what
with
I'm
him?
thinking at this point is, so if he's still part of the agency, then the company would have contracted the agency to provide them with an agent for the operation. And it would have been FX's character. And so he would have interacted with the mentor in that process. We'll have to give mentor a call sign like everybody else. Dungeon Master.
That would be funny.
It's an 80s cartoon. But yeah, I think that works as far as we need it to, at least anyway.
Cool.
I think we've already figured out how Mel's character worked in here. Roughly. She's in between movies. She hasn't killed Bill yet.
That is correct.
Is she going to have an eye pluck? That is in martial arts.
I'm not sure yet. She'll have some kind of technique.
That would be trained by a master, not weapon master, though.
Well, she's talking about the template, not the
Yeah, the weapon
advantage.
master template has weapon master on it.
Right, but well, there's no reason you can't also have trained by a master, but that might also be prohibitively expensive.
Yeah, that's another 30 points. I just realized I had to shuffle mine around because I have to have trained by master for the disappear technique.
Do I want to
Too late
hold
now.
everybody to that? So one of the things I kind of wanted to do, if everybody were going to do a martial artist of some kind, was have everybody have the same master and then just make trained by a master a campaign advantage. Like you don't pay for it. But everybody's not doing that. Although,
Could have been my hand-to-hand training combat instructor.
well, I was just thinking that I could make trained by a master a campaign advantage and it not all be the same master. Because you all could kind of fit into that in some form or another. Why don't I do that?
So we're basically 280 point characters.
So you'll be effectively 280. Trained by a master will be free for everybody.
Yay! Now I gotta fix my damn character again.
Now, FX in your case, you could apply that to the martial arts, or you could, I think there are some options for that where you might be able to apply it to guns. So you might want to look into that.
Well, if he's going for the assassin, I think gunslinger is part of the template.
Right, but trained by a master might have some optional effects that might affect gun-related activities.
Would it make sense to have? I mean, like knives, like martial arts. Knife, like
Oh yeah,
silent killing.
John Wick. Enough said.
Oh, well, okay. Sorry, but my question would be like, am I just gonna want to? Why would I use a knife when I can use a gun? Kind of a deal, like in this game.
Oh yeah,
Sure.
you're gonna be in situations you're not gonna have your own gear, so you're going to have to get a gun from somebody else, and they may not have extra mags. So yeah, there's a high probability you might end up needing to use non-gun skills.
All right, I like it.
Yeah, I want to see you guys mix it up a little bit. Yeah, if you ever really wanted to do some John Wick shit in GURPS, this is the time to do it. That or Shadowrun.
I did do John Wick shit in Shadowrun.
I know you did. And it was as advertised.
And I kept stealing everybody's kills. Fast enough.
Yeah, that's something I started to realize a little too late in my quote unquote gaming career. Is that in a group full of shooters, if you're playing a non-shooter, you really need to be a fast guy. You need to be able to close the distance quickly because they're going to kill everybody before you get there if you don't.
Okay. Greta.
We
Well,
get the call signs for all the bad guys.
that would be kind of funny, actually. Oh, Melkaby Baroness.
Mm-hmm.
Baroness.
Evil Lynn.
All right. Well, let me go down the list here. So we talked about that, names, disads. We got our actors basically figured out at this point. You are sticking with Donnie Yen?
Yep.
Officially? Okay. We know about the auxiliaries. Right now, the only one that's going to be bringing family along is Ronki's character. Got call signs. Got mentor. We can figure out the call sign for that. I think we're pretty much covered at this point. So, given that, I will open the floor to questions.
How do we get out of this chicken shit outfit?
You secure that shit, Ronky.
I am sure I will eventually have questions, but I have none right now.
You know, Ronky, if you're using Donnie Yen, you have to use Wing Chun.
Does the template differentiate? I don't think it does.
Well, I'm assuming you'd go into martial arts and take the Wing Chun template. On top of that.
Yeah, but he's MMA, so he's gotta have some Brazilian jiu-jitsu and stuff.
Well, he'll diversify. I don't think anybody that is an effective fighter is going to have only one style.
Does martial arts have a MMA style?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it's kind of an amalgamation of stuff. There's like a sidebar box in there talking about it. And I think it has a couple of versions in it because I've used it. Actually, Hurt had the MMA style.
I'll have a look. So he'll probably have Wing Chun, Muay Thai, and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah, there's going to be quite a bit of overlap probably, but that's fine. That's normal.
Stupid GCA. Yeah, I have no questions at the moment myself.
Oh, I need to make a note of the campaign
We've got Shredder,
thing.
Baroness.
Trained by Master.
I'm Cobra Commander.
That doesn't work as well.
Oh,
It could be Cobra. That'd be damn cheesy, but you know.
It can be Serpentor.
That's probably pushing a little farther.
Sergeant Slaughter.
Not a bad guy. Damn, I don't know which one I want to use.
What was Sergeant Slaughter's nemesis? Anybody know?
I wasn't still a gun.
Did he have a direct opposite?
Gargamel.
I was totally thinking of that.
Yeah, what 80s cartoon would have an Arabic bad guy character?
Dr. Claw. Gotcha.
Got Mum Ra, Thundercats. It's kind of Arabic.
I could go with one of my quirks, which is, I'm not a ninja, damn it, and get stuck with crap. What was
Ninja.
his name? Storm Shadow.
Yeah, but you've already got one with G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
Zoltar.
Zoltar.
Who the hell is Zoltar?
Battle of the Planets.
Oh, right. The Supreme
G-Force.
Ruler, whatever. Yeah, the one that was running around wearing lipstick, and you couldn't really tell if it was a he or she. Battle of the Planets.
Yeah, I really don't remember that one very well.
I remember really liking it, and then when I became an adult, I watched one episode of it and went, "My God, this is the worst thing I've ever seen." Sort of like, Super Friends.
Actually, does
Cool.
Super Friends count?
No, that was in the 70s. Cool. Well, what else do you need? from us?
Starscream.
Doesn't sound like we have a lot of questions. So, Ronki, assuming we start the last mission for Star Wars next week, 2, 3 sessions, 4? How long do you expect based on the previous ones?
Probably 2-3 sessions.
Maybe 4.
Let's aim for 3.
All right, that's how long we have. As far as the intro goes, I guess we're gonna stick with the redacted. So we just need to come up with something suitably action movie-like.
In the
Lots
event
of
that you
drums.
need longer, I could run that Aliens one-shot that I've got.
Yeah, okay. Oh, right. I was gonna do that. Specifically, I wanted to show this to Ronki, but I'll let everybody see it just to see how long it takes.
See lots of X's.
Ha! That's a boat.
Do you actually see it?
Yeah.
I do.
Better
I
stop.
only see 2 faces on there. Yeah, I did. So apparently, purchasing this particular video is gonna be like $80. It's like, yeah, I don't know if I want to do that for one use.
I could probably rig up a water simulation to do this.
Yeah, if you wanted to, we could refine it a little bit. But this is basically what I was looking for, because it has the waves in it already as well, not just the wake, but the ocean. And but this doesn't loop very well, so it's got a obvious seam in it. And,
Well, I sent you one that
yeah.
has sort of wake.
Yeah, but the ones that you sent were too busy, and the thing I liked about this one was it's kind of subdued. So if you had to put a token over it, you could still see the token without any real trouble.
Is this the image that you're actually going to be using for stuff? Like, will we be moving our tokens around on this image?
Yes and no.
Because
I've
it's
actually
really
got some,
small.
Is it?
Well, if you drop a token on, you have to zoom in, and the resolution of the hexes gets really dodgy.
Oh well, I can pull the image.
I don't know if you're looking at the stream, you should see what I'm seeing there.
Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about, and yeah, the hexes are currently really small, but there's no reason to just blow it up. The hexes are fine. But I've
But
actually
you won't be using this for tactical maps.
Not necessarily. I've got these.
Yeah.
Well, they're still the same. When you zoom right in, the hexes get all janky.
Right. That's just a problem with scaling the hexes and not the image itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I can fix that. I just wanted you to see what I was doing with the video image, since we were.
Is there any copyright issues using Shutterstock image as long as we keep the watermark?
This is a preview, so it's out there. They can't stop us from using that. And this is not exactly a commercial venture here. I don't see them making a fuss. Somebody would have to report it.
Yeah, but this is the internet. You get all sorts of trolls.
No, I think if you wanted to try to put
Hmm?
something together, then I wouldn't have a problem with using it, as long as it does basically the same thing we're doing here. Because the one that I have on here is pretty poor resolution.
I'll see if I can do a water simulation.
Yeah, we've got a while, so feel free to fiddle with it, and if we can come up with something better, by all means. But yeah, just FYI to everybody, one of the reasons I decided to do this particular campaign was because I had just been on this ship. This is the ship that I was just on, Freedom of the Seas. And I have lots and lots of pictures of this thing. Plus
You
the
were
actual
totally
deck
walking
plans.
around thinking, "Man, this section here needs to have a fight."
Yeah, basically.
Then the first thing we need to do in the adventure is find ourselves in a life raft.
I'm sure you're wondering how we got here.
Yeah, those the escape ships are really big.
Cool, cool. Well, is there anything else you need from us?
No, not really. We got everything.
One thing that I guess I might bring up is the teamwork perk. I don't know if
Ooh, that's a good point.
everybody's gonna.
Otherwise, you're gonna get hit.
Talking to.
Yeah. If one of you, if somebody wants to take the teamwork perk, then everybody will need to take it in order for it to be useful.
Okay.
Then would not get a box.
Yeah, but that's something to keep in mind. Unfortunately, the more that I think about it, though, it probably doesn't fit the team because we've got a sniper who's not going to be forming up in a formation, and don't call me a ninja, but I'm going to be sneaking forward and doing all that.
Yeah, well, just because he does sniper stuff doesn't mean he doesn't occasionally have to come in and do CQB. So there's a good reason and opportunity to do that here. I think if you guys plan that out ahead of time and actually go ahead and take that perk, then we'll make sure you guys get some use out of it. Which we normally don't because everybody doesn't think about it ahead of time.
Yep. Cool. All right. Well.
All right. Well, everybody's gone quiet, so I think
Well,
we're done here. You guys can
everybody
all
but
piss
the
off
very
now.
youngest one.
I got you, Dad.
Everybody gone quiet but the kid aggro.
Yeah, discipline
Yep.
over there apparently is breaking down.
Cool. All right. Well, so I guess are we back to Star Wars next week?
That's the plan.
I really need to get off my butt and finish the stupid recaps for
Yeah.
last thing. Okay. Hey, cool. There's a helicopter pad on this boat.
Yes, there is.
Maybe I should put pilot helicopter on there.
Yep, start thinking about that now. I will probably do at least one session grace period, but no more than that.
Cool. All right. Well, I guess it's back to Star Wars then. Cool.
Sounds good.
All right.
Awesome.
Piss off, everybody.
Where's your outro? That's a terrible outro.
Yeah, this is a session 0. We don't have an outro.
We've had an outro. Totally lame. We're disappointed in you.
Well, no one will ever know but us.
Well, Captain Button would know because he's there. Maybe not.
Yeah, but he'll forget.
All right. Well, in that case, I am going to piss off and go back and play a little bit more Rogue Trader.